Hi there, my name is Nick Francis. I'm the Chief Product Officer for Brooklyn Vendor Assurance. This is Chapter 2 of the Risk Management the Basics course, which is an introduction to risk management and the basic principles to apply when managing vendors at scale. So in Chapter 2, we're going to talk about identifying a risk and the personal risk parallel. So just a quick glance back, what you'd have heard in Chapter 1 is we spoke about what is a risk. So identifying that a risk stems from something that directly impacts a goal, and there are causes and contributing factors to those things that are a risk. So building on that principle, we get to a point where what is the personal risk parallel and what do we mean by this? So if we imagine that the goal in this case, and I've left the picture at the top right for you to look at to refer back to what is a risk, goals or risks to causes. If you look at the goal in this case as something you do, hopefully you do, every day in your personal life, or at least weekdays, is getting to work on time. So that could be your goal in this example we're going to use. And there's a number of risks to that you could review based on what that goal is. So one might be waking up, right? To risk one, ensuring that you have enough time to get to work and you wake up early enough to make the journey and get into the office. Number two might be that you've selected the best route to get to work, one that you're familiar with and have tried and practiced, so you know roughly how long it takes, or higher and lower expectations, you time it right to get into work for when you need to be. And three, that you ensure that your chosen method of transport is reliable. Hopefully all of you have got a car that's quite as sporty as the one looks there, but ultimately that's it, reliability, so you can get to work on time as well. So if we base those on what your goal is and three possible risks around that, we can then look at it on the basis as what causes could there be for those risks to become an issue, right? So essentially waking up on time. Right? Let's say you have no alarm clock. There's no alarm that goes off. You don't wake up on time. You haven't got enough time to get to work. Another one might be you went out late the night before and overslept. A third one might be that you're just generally unwell. You haven't been well, you didn't get up in time, or you're not well enough to get into the office. Any of those three will convert that risk into an actual issue. In terms of risk two, about the route taken to work. You're a bit of a daredevil, you like to take a detour. That's probably not a good idea because you're not going to get a consistent outcome and know what time you're going to arrive. So that could be a cause. Your weather might be a cause. So bad weather's going to slow you down on whatever route you take to get into the office. Third one might be there's just generally traffic. Something's happened on the road and there's a lot of traffic, thus taking you more time than you expected. Again, the risk has crystallised. It's become an issue. It now needs to be managed as an issue, not a risk. And the third and final one was potentially you go in your car and you have an accident. That's definitely going to delay you getting into the office, as well as if you break down, that will also delay you getting into the office. So the car would need to be fixed. Again, the risk that we outlined before has crystallised and become an issue. So they're just like three risk examples and 8 causes that could be contributed to those risks becoming an issue and crystallising. So if we go on from there to look at this on the basis of, well, against those causes, what could possible treatments be? And we'll cover this later in another chapter in the course, but the treatment might be you get an alarm clock, one that works. You might get 2 alarm clocks to have a backup, in which case the treatment method used there is mitigation. You're mitigating the chance that you will oversleep. You stay in, you don't go out, so you don't live it up and party the night away. A bit boring, but ultimately that one is avoidance. You avoid doing what might make you late in the morning, so you avoid going out, and thus that is effectively a risk treatment. You live a healthy lifestyle, as healthy as you can. That again is a method of mitigation. You won't always be well. You'll be ill at some point, but there's less chance of you being unwell because you're living a healthy lifestyle. Know your way. Pick a consistent route and stick to it. Again, another form of mitigation in terms of you arriving late at work. Check the weather, or work from home in this case. Avoidance. You didn't bother going into the office via your route because you work from home, thus you avoided it. Thus the treatment was avoidance, and the chance of the risk happening disappears. Leave earlier. You become aware that there's a lot of traffic on the road now, so you leave earlier and thus mitigating the chance of you getting stuck in traffic. Car accident, you have a level of insurance, so you insure yourself to make sure if you have an accident that you're covered both from a personal safety, but cover the other car and your car to make sure that what an unpleasant experience can be at least tolerable, in which case that's called transfer. You've transferred the risk to insurance to cover that for you. Again, just to give you an example of the different treatments. And the third and final one, lessen your chance of breakdown by carpooling. You share a car with 3 others, you take it in turn to drive, thus all your cars are not getting as much wear and tear and hopefully reliable, and then you've shared that element, so the treatment in that cause from a risk perspective is shared. That ultimately is how you manage risk in your personal life day to day. So to summarise, you already are an accomplished risk manager. So congratulations and well done. You already are a good risk manager. You use these skills every day for multiple times a day. If you just sat down and think about it, you'd look at many other examples of where you use the same skill set. the bit here and the aim from this course by the end of it is for you to have an awareness of this skill, which hopefully this is now giving you, and then taking what the further learnings are from the chapters to come is the ability for you to switch this skill into a corporate context, so a setting where it matters to an organisation, and apply the same skill set there. And ultimately, the challenge is still the same though. Know your goals, and if you know and understand your goals, you can understand the risks, or have a chance at understanding the risks. You are then able to identify the causes, and if you can identify the causes, you can decide and find and close in on a treatment. And that is you getting 90% of the way there. So congratulations on already being a risk manager, in case you wasn't aware of that. And I look forward to covering more with you in chapter 3, which is about doing this in a corporate setting. Thank you.